citizens' right to vote. Joining us now is Congressman G.K. Butterfield. He represents Elizabeth City, where we've been reporting from today and where we are tonight. He's a former voting rights attorney himself, a former North Carolina Supreme Court justice. Congressman Butterfield, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How do you explain what's happening in your state? North Carolina is a southern state with a pretty progressive history, especially on these issues. What's happening?
Well, first of all, Rachel, let me thank you very much for coming to the Albemarle region to report on this very sad story. Everything that you've said over the last 30 or 40 minutes is absolutely correct. It's an embarrassment for our state. We are not that type of state. Down through the years, we have been a progressive state. The Republicans have been locked out of state government here in North Carolina for many years, and this is their power grab. This is their opportunity to seize power. There were three things standing in their way up until recently. First of all, they didn't control the legislature, didn't have the governor's mansion, and they had Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act standing in their way. Well, President Obama had an unexpected victory here in North Carolina in 2008. We were so proud of that. But after President Obama's victory, they were determined to seize power. 2010, they won the state legislature, as you've reported. 2012, Governor McCrory was elected. And on June 25th, as we all know, the U.S. Supreme Court declared that Section 5 could not be enforced because of the coverage formula. And now with those three obstacles out of the way, the Republicans are now going full throttle. They are doing everything within their power to seize control of this state. They recognize, as you have reported, that the only way they are going to be able to maintain power in this state is to diminish and to dilute African-American votes in North Carolina. The African-American vote has been the margin of victory for the Democratic Party, and this is all about suppressing the black vote. We see right through it. We know exactly what's happening. That's why I've called on Attorney General Eric Holder to not only consider suing the state of Texas, which he did today, but to bring a Section 2 lawsuit in North Carolina. There is intentional discrimination ongoing, and it certainly has a discriminatory effect.
As a longtime legislator and as somebody with the judicial background that you have, do you think the Justice Department will do that? Do you expect they will?
Well, I certainly hope so. I spoke briefly with the Attorney General before I left Washington the other day about that. He is well aware of what's happening in North Carolina. I encouraged Eric Holder to move some of the attorneys from the Section 5 unit over to the Section 2 unit so that we can litigate more of these cases. North Carolina is ripe for this type of case. There is no question that we could successfully prove in North Carolina intentional discrimination as well as discriminatory impact. We've got to move in North Carolina. We've got to show the Republicans that you just don't reverse 30 years of progress with the stroke of a pen.
When these county election boards are making the kind of decisions they are, closing the Appalachian State voting precinct and putting that and combining those precincts, here at Elizabeth City, challenging the right of a student to run for office, which is the same right he would need to be able to vote here, do you think the counties are freelancing, or do you think this is a larger plan?
Well, it's disgusting, to say the least. I don't believe it's a local plan of the Pasquotank Republican Party. I think this is connected to the state and to the National Republican Committee. This is a national plan to disenfranchise voters for political advantage. I know it. The people of the Albemarle region know it. And we're going to do everything we can to stop this overreach from the Republican Party.
Congressman G.K. Butterfield, representing Elizabeth City, North Carolina, which has been so hospitable to us today. Thank you so much, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. All right. There is a place nearby here called the Great Dismal Swamp. Best place name in the country, as far as I'm concerned. And it turns out it is as wicked important as it is intimidatingly named. And that story is coming up.